Cursed Hollow, game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Washed up after they just won their last match against Hold My Beer, is now playing against 42 Esports, who we saw successfully take down their first round opponent earlier today. Now we have Cursed Hollow as our first map, and again, if you're not quite sure what we're watching here, this is Division S qualifier, and it is the first qualifier for Division S, which is a semi-pro league that is going to start up pretty soon. It's just the attempt to bring a higher competitive level back into Heroes of the Storm from heroeslaunch.gg. This is one of the qualifier tournaments, and Washed Up is one of the former pro teams. So we have on that side Mene, Ethernal, JayPL, HasuObs and Smexy playing, and obviously they're one of the big favorites heading into the tournament here. We have a few others of the former pros playing in various other teams as well, but we're currently looking at the first day of the tournament, and Washed Up with a quick ban against Abathar here after Zeratul was already taken out. So up to this point, Washed Up hasn't dropped the map yet, had a very impressive performance in the first best of 3 that they played. 42 Esports is a team that consists of Grandmaster and Master players, so they play in Division 2 actually of Heroes Launch as well, so in the amateur scene, and they're now currently trying to make their way into Division S. And Division S will consist of 8 teams, and the qualifiers, we have 4 qualifiers in total. Each team that wins a qualifier is automatically qualified for Division S, and the last 4 teams that have to be determined to fill up those 8 are determined by points that you gather as you play in each tournament, and they depend, obviously, the amount of points that you get depend on how far into the tournament you progress. So that's the setup that we have here for the qualification. We have Toranda banned out, and Genji now banned as well. The one advantage that 42 Esports actually had was that they were able to watch the last series of Washed Up. So they have seen all those stun combos with Toranda and the quick blow-ups happen, and that's one of the reasons why Toranda is banned out here. HANZO makes his way into the draft on the first pick here for Cursed Hollow. I mean, Toranda, obviously, outside of her being amazing in terms of blow-up compositions, also offers a lot of vision control for the team. And with 2 bosses on the map, that's something that you really want to control. You don't want your opponent to be able to sneak something like that in. And HANZO, obviously, is helping you to burn down these bosses, depending on the build that you are going for. And of course, also, he's able to provide you with that vision around those tribute areas. Global being chosen now, so we have Anubarak for JayPL. Ethernal is going to play with Dehaka, going to be trying to make sure that he has that global aspect, that he can just tunnel in, make sure that he gets the drag connected, and the isolation, of course, too. So they're trying to use the map already to their advantage through a focus on macro play over simply homing in on the team kills, on the player kills for the team fights. And Jaina and Garrosh. So the setup already for 42 Esports, not really too shabby. Taking Jaina away, taking HANZO away. 2 of the key heroes that we've seen in the previous games for Team Washed Up. And with that, we're now having also our next 2 bans coming in. And that could be a focus on supports, with Toranda already banned out. Especially when we're looking over towards Washed Up. Is that going to be a Malfurion ban, for example? It's definitely one of the options for 42 Esports, unless they have a couple of damage dealers that they definitely want to ban out. Keep in mind that Maiev hasn't been picked yet either. Picked or banned. So Maiev is still up. She hasn't been banned out. Are you afraid of that, though? That's the question. Mene has played Maiev occasionally. You still have HasuObs in there. Ethernal, again, very likely to play Dehaka. But there's the Maiev ban. Alright, not risking anything. No risks whatsoever. Making sure that there's not going to be a problem there in the long run. With that said, in come the 2 picks for Washed Up. And I want to see the damage. I want to see the damage in particular for them right now. HasuObs and Mene. Li Ming! There we go. Mene with Li Ming already, looking for those resets. And what are we going to see for HasuObs? Or will Smexy drop the support here first? Yes, Malfurion. And Nubarak with the engage, the immediate roots through Smexy with Malfurion, and then Mene with a bullseye homing in on the target, trying to blow it up, get the reset with the abilities, and then continue the bunny hop right then from there. So with this, we are going to have a quick look at the final 2 picks for 42 Esports. They kind of know what's up already. How do they react to this? They still need their own support, and also they need an offlaner. They know they have to deal with the Haka. Are they going to go into an ETC again like we saw before? They do! ETC on the offlane can use stage dive this time. Can use the stage dive to have the pseudo global available so that they can mirror the Haka's movements on the map. And Rega with that to keep especially Garrosh alive. If he gets bursted, make sure that you have the Ancestral ready and play around that. With Malfurion for now taken, we only need another damage dealer for them. Likely that's going to be HasuObs' choice. There's Junkrat still available, or you could go into Reyna. FALSTAD for the double global. Okay, we have FALSTAD claimed. And with that, we're heading into map number 1. Cursed Hollows, ladies and gentlemen, is game number 1, map number 1 in the Division S qualifier here for Washed Up against 42 Esports. Let's jump right into it. Game number 1 in the best of 3 series here, and on the left we have Washed Up, Mene on Liming, Smexy on Malfurion, JayPL on Anuburak. We see HasuObs on FALSTAD, and Ethernal playing the Haka. A double global and gust control over bosses and tributes for Washed Up as they go up against 42 Esports who run Uki on HANZO. We have Weirdbeard on Rega, Opadopa on Jaina, Ditrio on Garrosh, and Thunderbear on ETC as we are heading into our first game of the series here. And again, this is still at the beginning of the tournament. It is the first tournament for the Division S qualifier. Heroes launch, of course. And with that, we have Mene already on level 1, straight with the Power Hungry. Can expect a normal build for him. Power Hungry into Dominance, into Calamity on the first 3 levels. HasuObs with Seasoned Marksman on level 1, going into the auto attack build. Still very likely to take on level 7 Boomerang for the wave clear on his hero. And on the other side, we're currently also seeing a bit of a focus to control mercenary camps. Could go into the level 4 talent here as well after using the simple geometry. So HANZO going into the scatter arrow and is going to try and burn those bosses down whenever they get a chance. With that said, we have ETC as the offlaner. You don't see too much, but it has actually been very popular in HGC for some time as well. Not recently, but there was a period where ETC was one of the most popular offlaners, just simply because with stage dive he can mirror the global movements of a hero like the Haka quite easily, and after he gets access to his level 7 talent Echo Paddle, he has the wave clear to really stand on the lane. Ethernal is already zoning him out down here, and is trying to deny some of the experience, and Thunderbear at some point realizes, alright, I kind of have to deal with that. Slides back. Good place by him. Playing this right so far, and not overcommitting to anything, but Thunderbear has already experienced firsthand how quickly rotations from Washed Up can hit you, so if he doesn't have full vision on the remaining 4 mans of the blue team's lineup, he is going to play this extremely careful here. Anuburak gets thrown over, but JayPL can just simply move out here without any trouble whatsoever. Thanks to the beetles, they can of course soak the shots of the turret and burn that down very quickly, as we have Opadopa and Weirdbeard on the combo with Rega and Jaina going for the camp instead. So they take the camp, but the question is, what do they get in terms of value out of it? Because so far the turret is about to go down. Mene wants the angle, gets the turret destroyed, and now the main question is, can the red team reply in kind with the pressure that they're trying to build up through the camp that was taken, which led to the tower being destroyed in the first place? So if they can take one themselves, then they are still all Gucci. If not, they might run into some trouble later on. HasuObs is finding himself on a lane against HANZO and is still continuing the stacking process. But Hazu has also taken quite a little bit of damage, as you can see. The both of them are actually pretty low, but the Siege Giants are an added tool that HasuObs can use right now to push Uki back and try and get maybe even a kill in at some point. And we have another tower going down. That's the second already. So pretty good moves when it comes to the structural advantage. First Tribute is now spawning topside, and of course for the time being, ETC cannot use stage dive. So when ability gets on level 10, so up to that point, Ethernal still has the option of just simply using the global. ETC is rotating right now. Jaina died already! Wow! That was even before the fight really started. I mean, ETC wasn't even halfway through to the mid lane, and all of a sudden Jaina gets blown to pieces, and with her being dead, that's an insta-kill and an insta-tribute right there. So good job by Washed Up, leading this with a kill, and now having the opportunity to get ahead on the objective, of course, too. They're starting these rotations again, always staying out of vision. And Thunder Bear is playing it again careful, staying on the shark, not making anything, just like sitting tight here, and not going too far out. He still doesn't have a lot of vision. They don't know where these two heroes are, so they can of course assume that they're going to take a camp at this point, but ETC needs to be careful with this. This is really a moment where the pings are already coming in. It's like, careful, they could be here. And he knows that he has to have the power slide ready to move away here in case that someone rotates in. In the meantime, we're having D-Trio trying to make a play for HasuObs up at the top side. 7 talents are in, and as mentioned before, we have the boomerang right now. Alright, there comes Garrosh, but HasuObs moves away. No problem for him. Calamity and Dominance have also now been taken by Mene on his Liming. And we have the Subterranean Shield after the Underking for Anubarak. So the deep dive is happening on that end. Ethernal sees himself up in the middle, but we have at the bottom of the map, we have the Tribute. So Ethernal is starting the rotation towards the top, going back onto the off lane, as the focus of the map shifts slightly towards the bottom now. Another Siege Giant camp has been taken, but now Tribute number 2 is going to be fought over, and we already see a half-level lead here for the blue team. Washed Up drops another turret, and they're really starting to whittle away at the defenses. JayPL, no interrupt by him. There's a channel from Rhaegar, and they move out of harm's way. Can't do too much here, but they have the advantage with the Haka topside. So now even more experience for Washed Up as they made that trade. And they're currently just also slowing down the rotation towards the top lane a little bit. And that means less and less experience is being caught here by the team. Interact, 42 Esports is losing out on a few minions on pretty much all of the lanes here. And the Haka is still easily claiming it. So we have them with more than half a level ahead already. They're stopping ETC from moving away. JayPL doesn't have the stun ready, but they are applying the pressure now. And an early level 10 would give them not only another tribute, but very likely also an opportunity to go for a kill. That would have been great for 42 Esports if they could have killed an Uberak there, but JayPL had his cooldown available and moved away. But here comes the level 10 ability now, and as you can see, it just works pretty much perfectly with the level 10 and the tribute. So right now we have Mighty Gust, we're seeing the isolation as predicted, and Uberak gonna head into the cocoon, and then Smexy can pretty much play it like he wants to, you know, but especially Twilight Dream could be absolutely brutal if there's a good Mighty Gust, if there's another play. Talking about plays, that's a ballsy one right there. Not having level 10 and right next to the tribute going for the boss, that is greedy if I've ever seen anything like it. But they actually just go for a greedy move and steal it away. And this is the moment where Washed Up is probably like, wait, what the hell? They took boss? Okay. Didn't probably expect that. If that gets scouted out, you're not only losing the boss, you're probably losing a hero or two. That was insanely greedy. But Washed Up didn't even have it on their radar, and therefore one taken, and we immediately have the rotation down here to try and make the same play again. Now HasuObs has, of course, Mighty Gust, and as long as they have vision, he can time that, and they're actually trying to do that. There's the vision. Smexy's moonfiring it. Are they moving away here? There's the stun. Oh my god! Limbing immediately with the damage. And that one hit hard. So they give up. Boss is not taken. They didn't want to make the play against FALSTAD being down here. Limbing is still in a bit of trouble, by the way, as the water elemental or the little snowman is trying to chase him down. But at the top, the Haka has defeated the boss by now, who broke at least through the wall. But FALSTAD is at the bot lane, and FALSTAD is sitting at 18 stacks now. We're having another tribute spawning, and that could be a cursed tribute if it's claimed by Washed Up, but they have the advantageous position on the bot lane with the experience that they gather, so they're most likely going to let this one go, and yes, indeed they do. So there's no one rotating in for it. ETC, as expected, went for the stage dive. They're double checking the boss here, just to make sure that no one snuck in. And in the meantime, FALSTAD has pushed out the lane, has taken the fountain, and denied a small amount of experience, nothing too crazy, to 42 Esports. And up at the top, again, the pressure play. It's a slow game. It is a slow game. I mean, 42 Esports is playing this as safe as they possibly can, but the next tribute is very likely going to change it, just simply because it is a curse tribute. No matter who takes it, will curse the opponent. And we already have all of the teams just staying A, safe, and B, looking for small opportunities to maybe get a kill or an advantage. By getting a boss, getting a quick rotation, setting a gank up, for example. So there's a lot that you can do with that. Yeah, well, here comes the gank that I've been talking about onto ETC. And not quite sure if that cocoon was needed there, but JayPL wants the cooldown back for the stun. And they are going to get the kill. Or are they? They are not. JayPL is griefing. Not getting the last hit in, and that is a cooldown burned, and ETC is simply moving away. And he can easily Hearthstone. He still has stage dive and can use that. That was a bit unfortunate for them. ETC survives. He had no right to survive all of that. But now that's a big one that you have to fight over. 13 talents are quicker. 4 washed up. But can they force the fight quickly enough? We have a camp, by the way, in the middle of the map, and that one gets value, and a lot of value at that. Down here, on the other hand, it's a different story. JayPL again with a stun. Dehaka not moving in just yet. ETC has roamed to the top, has the stage dive ready, but he wants the experience to give them level 13. And they're gonna get it too. Cocoon is back up, though. So they waited out the Cocoon here. But here's the channel. And I don't think they want to really accept the curse. Interrupt is ready. Dehaka is defending the mid lane against the camp that we pointed out a bit earlier. And that camp nearly took down the fort, by the way. The fort is incredibly low. And should be easy pickings for 42 Esports later on. There's the Cocoon on Garrosh to jump into the back line. Immediately HANZO moving away, but from behind comes Dehaka. Great Ancestral from Rhaegar, but he himself gets taken out. The resets for Mene on Liming, and Jaina falls. Smexy has fallen on the Malfurion, but they are making the re-engage happen against ETC. The cow is down. It's beef for lunch. And finally, they get the kill against Garrosh as well. 4 kills against 1. A great trade for them and a fantastic coordination. We see FALSTAD coming in from the side. We have immediately as the fight continues, the Cocoon on the front line, the dive into the back line, Dehaka moving in and cutting the path of retreat off. So a very nice coordinated attack here by Washed Up that leads to 4 kills in their favor. And with that, they curse the opponent's team. They take the fort at the bottom of the map. Easy peasy. FALSTAD now moving into the top. HasuObs, by the way, playing it extremely safe. The entire time sitting here when he didn't have any vision. But now that he sees more heroes on the map, he might make a move. Doesn't really see too many though, because Garrosh and HANZO haven't shown yet, so he plays this slow. The important part if you curse an opponent is oftentimes to at least soak the minion experience. Because if you don't pay attention, you can lose a lot of minion experience when there is a curse. Let's assume for a moment you curse your opponent and you push with 5 man down the lane. You will lose all of this on those off lanes, because your minions are going to take these downs within a hit, and you're not getting the XP for that. So that's a pretty big problem, or it can be. So in this case, we have them now massively ahead because they still soaked all of the lane experience. They used the remaining 2 seconds of the curse to get themselves a boss at the bot lane, and that boss is gonna move for the keep directly. So 42 Esports has to defend that, and Washed Up has 2 options. They can either go for the boss at the top side, which we already see attacked by 42 Esports, but not in time, by the way, if they rotate quickly, or they have to defend. And they go for the boss, and 42 Esports says, hey, we can push this. We can push this right now. They don't really care if the boss at the top is taken. Instead, FALSTAD is still playing it safe here in the middle. 31 stacks by now for HasuObs, but they're going to try and make the play for the keep. But of course, the red team will have to move away and try and defend this. They know that their keep is on the line, whereas topside still has a fort standing for Washed Up. So with that fort in play, I mean, obviously that boss is going to go through it, but the keep is going to be safe. That can't be set for the bottom of the map, on the other hand. This is with the Siege Giants now a perfect opportunity to get a quick kill here. And maybe even get more. They already go for Yuki, and what can he do? The drag doesn't connect. Yuki jumps out, and there's the isolation as we see Garrosh taken down. ETC jumps right into the middle of 5. Even the Ancestral that gets thrown out without hesitation by Rhaegar cannot save him. Down goes HANZO, and what looked like a keep is all of a sudden turning into a core attempt as we have Washed Up aiming for the first win in the series. They go for Jaina. Mene blows one target up after another, capitalizes on the resets here, and they take the core down. Washed Up with the lead in the best of 3, taking the win against 42 Esports on Cursed Hollow. Game number 2, everybody. Washed Up against 42 Esports. And we have Volskaya Foundry again as the map. Had it already in one of the previous series. Washed up pretty well there. Very dominant performance by them. So now we're heading into our second game, and 42 Esports is down one map in this series, so they're going to try and somehow turn this franchise around here. They took first pick and first ban, which means that the map choice is the map choice of Washed Up. And I mean, it is the team basically consists of players of two or three of the best teams that we had in HGC, and some of them were known for their performance on Volskaya Foundry, so it doesn't really shock me a lot that we have that map now chosen again by them. With Zeratul banned out, I'm still a bit curious to see what they themselves want to get rid of here. Is Maiev going to be banned? Yes, indeed it is. So they banned Maiev. Don't want to allow it for 42 Esports. Have no problem with that there. And now, what's happening on the other side? 42 Esports, what are they going to get rid of? What are you afraid of at that point? Is it going to be a mage that you ban out? Is it just a tank at the front line where you ban out Garrosh again, unless you want to pick him yourself, or you're going to ban an Anubarak, Diablo? There's like too many choices if you go up against this team. And they are worried about Hammer. Great hero for the map. They've already seen HAZO play in the previous game on Infernal Shrines with Hammer. Not quite something that they want to encounter here. So Hammer is currently taken off the board, and that leaves us with the last and final ban. Well, actually, the second ban for Washed Up before we're heading into our first pick round and see what 42 Esports prioritizes. Still a chance that Tyrande gets banned out, since she's still in here. HANZO. HANZO banned away. And 42 Esports, what's the first pick? What's the strategy change? Anubarak. Alright, they themselves want to dive now. It would be funny to me if now, for example, Jaina is immediately picked away and maybe a quick pick on Tyrande too. Take one or two away from that setup and then just see how 42 Esports react to it. Because if you pick a Anubarak early, most of the time you give away the game. People kind of know what you want to do with him. That doesn't make him weak in any case, but it is making it a lot more difficult if you react properly. And here we have now Tyrande picked right away. Tyrande taken, Garrosh with it. Normally that means that you would, as the Anubarak team, move into Malfurion. But, as we said before, there's other heroes that can be fantastic on this map. They played already quite a lot with Rhaegar in the previous series that we had for 42 Esports. So there's a chance that Rhaegar is again going to be the choice here. Jaina for the burst damage. Is it the Malf? Whitemane. Whitemane instead. After level 13, you have the Harsh Discipline. You can use that as a lockdown after Anubarak, and even the Anubarak stun alone with the engage, with the cocoon that you can use, sets Jaina up quite nicely to get the damage in. I could definitely see them with Blaze on the offlane on the other hand, because Blaze would provide them with another stun they can use after Anubarak engaged. That would also keep Anubarak a lot safer. So if you really want to give Jaina a lot of time to get all of the damage through, then Blaze or another stun hero on the offlane might be a good choice here. And for now, we have Malthael banned out. They're a little bit worried about Garrosh and his health here. Malthael, of course, a good hero against him. 42 Esports. I mean, they are currently looking at their last ban, and with Tyrande and Garrosh, they ban Junkrat. They already have to deal with Garrosh and the displacement. They don't want to really deal with Junkrat at the same time. And in terms of picks, I mean, again, personally, I think that on the map here, we could see Arthas on offlane, by the way, too. This is a chance to go into like Arthas and Reyna. You could play that. They could play with Blaze now themselves. There's Reyna already. Blaze instead of Arthas. Taking it away from Anubarak, eliminating one of the stuns, setting it up for themselves. And obviously, Arthas is a really good combo with Reyna because of the ace in the hole. But you have the oil spill from Blaze as well. So it's not like you heading into Blaze instead removes that option from you. It's maybe not quite as constant as with Arthas and the Howling Blast and Frozen Tempest, but Blaze gets a lot of slows through that you can capitalize on. And that gives us Leo and Greymane for the team in red. So maybe even a Cursed Bullet play, depending on what the priority is for them here. But okay, burst damage, burst damage, burst damage, burst damage, looking for kills. And Greymane, of course, can also take down the structures if he ever gets onto them. Good for camps too. Another reason, both of them can burn camps away pretty quickly. And let's see. Last pick, last and final one. And it is Li Ming. Mene again with Li Ming as we are heading into the second game on Volskaya Foundry between Washed Up and 42 Esports. Game number 2. Washed Up is in the lead against 42 Esports, and we have them to the left with Mene on Li Ming, Smexy on Turanda, JayPL on Garrosh, HasuObs on Reyna, and Ethernal is playing Blaze. On the right side of the map, we're seeing 42 Esports with Uki on Jaina, D-Trio on Anubarak, Thunderbear on Leoric. We have Weirdbeard on Whitemane and Opadopa on Greymane. And, well, they looked pretty good the last time that they played on this map, and on Cursed Hollow, of course. They already took that lead against 42 Esports. Now we're going in again, and we will find out how exactly this particular match now works out, as they're already going for the first kill here. And barely Thunderbear is getting away from this one. That was a close call here. That was actually a little bit of a shocking moment there, but he's able to survive. Alright, with that, I guess we have to actually also clear something up, because it was really interesting during draft. Some people were wondering why you would pick Li Ming into Anubarak, and I actually thought that was like widely known now. And I mean, we have this pick pattern, we have seen it now for years actually already in Heroes of the Storm, but I think some people might not have watched a lot of HGC. Well, first of all, let's look at Yuki. Those wraparounds are really, really strong here. So, Li Ming is actually one of the best heroes against Anubarak, and initially when the two went off against each other, there was always that small contestation where an argument against picking Li Ming into this setup was that a lot of the beetles, when they spawn, will soak up the abilities of Li Ming and therefore mitigate some of the damage. And that was initially a bit of a concern, but as the heroes were picked against each other more and more, it turned out that first of all, the beetles don't soak up as much as you would think. Nice go here for the healing beacon, claiming that. So yeah, that a good Li Ming player will still get the damage delivered, but one of the most important arguments is that you are able to burn down the cocoon of Anubarak with your disintegrate within mere seconds, and that's one of the main reasons why the hero is chosen. So Li Ming is one of the best choices you can make in your draft against Anubarak, and it goes to an extent that oftentimes when you see an Anubarak picked in the first position, you will see picked Li Ming basically immediately after. That's what we're seeing in some drafts even. So Anubarak really sent us a lot around the idea of having a very quick engage, trying to jump onto a target, and then blow that to pieces. And most of the time, and we saw that for example on Cursed Hollow, on the first map, you're trying to combo that with a good cocoon. And the cocoon goes either against the frontliner that is trying to zone you out and control your movements with stuns, or it goes onto the support. Let's say, for example, there is a Rhaegar or an Uther on the other side, and you're trying to prevent the ancestral healing to come through and save the burst target or the divine shield. Then you will make the engage with your entire lineup, you cocoon that hero, and then you blow him to pieces. If you have Li Ming on the other side, on the other hand, all she has to do is on that very low cooldown on the heroic ability, go for this integrate and then burn the cocoon down. This is why normally you will see a Li Ming always go for the wave of force, but once you go up against Anubarak, that's when you go into this integrate and you burn that down. So it's a pretty established pattern already, has been very, very standard for at least 1.5 to 2 years now, and definitely something that you will see in most of these games. So in case that you were wondering why that happens, that's two of the main reasons why. There's a little bit more that comes in it, but at this point we should probably focus on the game a little bit more. Li Ming also, in Mene's case, going for the exact same setup here again, the power hungry into the dominance and then calamity. So going for the standard build here on her. And with that said, we have now in terms of items 2 against 1. We have the turret and the healing beacon chosen for Washed Up, and they are with that now trying to establish the position onto the control point as much as they can, have an early lead here, again in experience, and Jaina finds herself already topside because she has to take with the camp that was perfectly timed from Wash Up, and now Uki can't really rotate in, which allows for Washed Up to get a massive, massive lead on the progress bar before there is even any kind of contestation. And by that time we have level 7, there's a quick attempt to burn down Anubarak. They don't get the kill, but that's a lot of free damage. That's 50% of damage here already. And that is exactly what you want to do. Force the cooldown on the fountain early, and then just simply abuse him of the chance to go back and heal himself again. Already, Leoric is low, gets a quick hit in with a Consume Vitality as a level 1 talent, went into the Ghastly Reach, but it doesn't help anymore. And Nuburak is down and the Protector is claimed. Protector taken, and that is just bad news at this point. Top lane, that is what you aim for. We talked about this already previously on the map. The idea with a Protector is always to prepare for the next objective. They want to drop the wall here, and then the Protector is going to rotate to the top lane and is going to try and take at least the fountain down. Ideally, you want to take the fort, but if you take the fountain down, it means that when the second objective over here spawns, you will still be able to retreat to your own fountain, but your opponent will not have that as a safety tool and can't top off their hit points and their mana points right there. The only reason why you sometimes see someone go straight for a keep or for something else is that with a second Protector, if you've already taken this down, you might be able to make a play for the top keep. But it's always a bit of a judgment call. Depending on how the game goes, you will see the Protector rotate all the way down to the bot lane to do the exact same thing. To prepare the bottom lane for the third objective and take down the fountain again. So that's the standard rotation that you normally see on Volskaya Foundry. And if you play the game in any kind of competitive setup, it's definitely a pattern that you should pick up for yourself to make sure that you get the most out of an early objective. The fight's over. I mean, this is a bit of a ballsy one. This is actually suicidal what they're doing right now. I can understand the idea that you think, hey, maybe we need to force a fight before our opponent has level 10 abilities. That didn't quite happen, though. Nice move here by Weirdbeard with the intercession. If that doesn't happen, it's a kill. And instead, they're killing an Uburak who tried to sneak past, but the taunt is there. And that's, of course, them trying to fight with level 10 abilities, going in immediately to use those to a good extent, get another kill out, 3 kills against 0 right now, and we have them in a massive, massive lead already. Well played here, and with that pressure that they're establishing now, they can also go straight in for the fort again and try and drop that completely, preparing the top lane for a potential push against the keep with the next setup. JayPL needs to be careful, uses his Indomitable to move away from this one, and at the bottom of the map, we're still seeing Leoric going up against Ethernal. And that gives us a chance to go for the build again that Thunderbear is using here. We see that a bit more these days. Consume Vitality is one of the standard talents next to Austin's Renewal on level 1. But the level 4 talent has actually switched a little bit in the past few weeks. Depending on the map and what your focus is with Leo, you will see instead of Needle Peasants, the Ghastly Reach. And one of the thought processes behind it is that you want in team fights to hit more heroes to benefit from the cooldown reduction and the combo that you get through your Ominous Wraith and the Royal Focus on level 13 and 16. So especially on Infernal Shrines, you see that a lot more. JayPL is trying to hold the camp here for now. There comes the Cocoon. Hyperion is out as well. And JayPL a bit far out for this one, but a lot of items already dropped by the red team, and that starts to become a bit of an issue. Ethernal survives and moves away, but it looks like Leoric might be in trouble here, and as he gets flipped back in, he's the one to die. Leo goes down. That's a kill for them, and next to it, of course, they also were able to draw all of the items that were held by 42 Esports. Great situation here now for Washed Up, as they are a level ahead, closer to level 13, and they get another kill in the game, even though it is only a kill against Leoric. So he's going to be back a lot sooner. And of course he spawns on the lane, which is actually one of the main advantages of having an Uburak in this setup. Just simply because he doesn't have to travel back from the Nexus, he can just sit there right away. With this, we have up to the top, the trio, Weirdbeard and Opadopa, starting to take the top lane. They can't really do too much once that the 13 is there, so I would expect that at least one of them is starting to make a trip down to the middle, if they're not just simply leaving Leoric there. But they're at least trying to get something out of the pressure play, and that is one turret that they currently got. So now the move up to the top. And they might be able to get a bit out of this, but now that level 13 is there, they have to move away from it. And that's the big problem that you have when you're losing the first Protector. If your opponent plays their cards right, they should always end up with a lead heading into objective number 2. So what you do about that is you give them the lead initially, go for a soak on all 3 lanes, get level 13, and then once you have that, then you fight for it. But as you can see, the pressure play just continues. They put the power onto Opadopa, meaning he's low. There's no fountain here, so he has to retreat, has to tap off the well back here, or has to go all the way back to the Nexus, and that opens up more space to drop the entire fort. So the situation here is getting really dicey for 42 Esports. And they're trying to find some value at the bottom of the map. But the experience is not quite working the way that it did before, so they need that minion experience. And with that, the entire lane here is already prepared to push for the keep, 86%. And they might not even be able to be there in time to contest it. They don't have, well, they have now 13, but there's Mene already zoning them out quite nicely. Protector is taken. We have now 13 talents on the board. And with this, we are seeing Washed Up make a play for the keep right away. Not wasting any time to go to the bottom of the map and preparing the third lane. They're just saying, let's make sure we get catapults here. Because if you get the keep down, that means during the third objective, that spawns bot side, you will have top side pressure through the continuous catapults that spawn on your lanes. That's another great tool to put pressure onto the opponent, because as they are trying to fight for the protector, their core will be under the attack of catapults. So it's another cool setup if you can get it. But so far, 42 Esports is defending well. They're doing fairly well here. The wall has fallen, and we're seeing here the attack. Oh, and Greymane goes down. Greymane is dead right away. Weirdbeard is also very low, but the keep is still in play. The keep is still in play. Reina gets thrown out. Mene again trying to burn down the water elemental as quickly as they can. They're trying to make the play for D3 on his Anuburak, but he turns it around. Fight isn't over just yet, and Greymane is still 10 seconds out, but the keep is still there. Damage is slowly coming in, but they need to burn another wave of minions down if they want to take this, and Washed Up is going to commit to it. They're poking more and more. Greymane is on the way back. It's going to be a 5 vs 5, and Mene gets the kill, gets the reset, and gets the damage in now against Leoric too. The keep has fallen, 6 kills against 0, and with Mene getting the kill against Jaina, they have now also a numerous advantage that they can use to steal the camp of their opponent away. Now the camp itself isn't really doing a lot. It gives them experience, of course. It stalls out the movements of 42 Esports even more, but it takes it away from them. They won't be able to take it themselves, so the camp over here is later on getting easier value for them. And we have another item claimed by them too, pushing through the middle again. And this is just really Washed Up, building on the advantages that they have. You take the camp away, your opponent has to deal with it. You take the objective in the middle, your opponent can't contest it. You take a talent advantage, you go straight for the push against the fort in the middle of the map. So they're making all these small, quick rotations, and it just starts adding up and adding up and adding up. And this is exactly what you would expect from former HTC players who are just right now dominating in the second game here after already taking the lead in this series on Cursed Hollow. And you look at the bot lane and you have a similar picture. The fountain is down, so that lane is already prepped for the next objective. And now with level 16 talents, they move aggressively with the minion wave behind the fort, zone the opponent out, threaten with Garrosh and with Blaze to force another fight here, and that allows them to easily take, with the minion wave and the damage dealers, the fort out, and their opponent can't fight for it. Crazy setup here. Really, really well done now by Washed Up, and just capitalizing on the advantages that they have in the game. Oh my god, and there's the kills. Mene with the resets, and then HANZO with the final blows as we see Greymane and Li Ming die. A fantastic jet propulsion executed from Ethernal, and the follow-up right there. Not even the taunt had to be used by JayPL, and that's a quick double kill way before the third objective is even announced. They take another fountain down. They're already trying to get another kill. Throws in Ethernal, tries to turn it here onto Leo. They're moving away, but Anuburak is dead, and Washed Up is just mopping the floor with 42 Esports here at this point. Fantastic coordination, exactly what you would expect from former pros, and they are currently with 2 keeps destroyed, very heavily in the lead. Passive experience is coming in more and more, as we can see right here. The difference in passive experience is already about 3,000. That, of course, is going to increase even more and more as we see the game continue. But with the boss, the protector, the bot lane potentially going over to Washed Up, they will make a play for game. 16 is what 42 Esports needs right now. They want to have the 16 talent and then try and make a play here. It's the only thing they can do. But the entire bottom lane is already opened up, so if you lose the protector now, the game is very likely to end. The damage output, 18,000 only on Leoric. He's the highest damage dealer for the team. We're still seeing fights against Leoric. We're seeing items being fought over. An attempt by D3 to see if they can maybe do something here, but things are not looking good for them. They have the 16 talents now on the other hand, and that gives them an opportunity to go in and try to force a fight. And if they win it, they can start a comeback. but things are definitely dire right now. Again, the play on Nubarak, the taunt, and the quick kill. And they get another one against Whitemate, don't they? Weirdbeard is low and goes down, and that's a double kill right there. Protect us on the map. Boom! A straight double kill again, making it a quad as we have Leo and Jaina both fall. They're not even wasting any time with Greymane as we are having them moving towards the core with a 3-level lead. Tyrande has died, but they traded well against 4. And now we have a 3-level lead for them. We're seeing 13 kills against 1 and another game about to end as we have Washed Up going for the victory in game number 2. Trying to claim another 2-0 win in the qualifier for Division S. The shields are falling. Leo is back here in Greymane. They're trying to do their thing, but the Protector is already on the core. Reyna has fallen, but that doesn't really matter at this point anymore. You can't burn that Protector down. Mene is still alive too. They are taking the win. They're taking the 2-0 against 42 Esports as Washed Up moves on to the next round of the Division S qualifier.